Wow. Already. What? Hey, Katie. Thank you. Hey, Americana, what's up? Everybody's here today. Awesome. Oh, it's right here. It'll come in soon. What did you do? Oh, wow, that's crazy. Why'd they kick you out? Also, why'd you remove your hijab? Hey, thanks, Evelyn. Appreciate it. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what you just said. I don't know, but man, do you find that it's a bad thing? I did, or a personal choice, and how I could build a new background about you. I mean, Americana, I think not sure if I've already told you this, I'm Catholic, so personally, I don't think it's a bad thing to unveil yourself. It's up to you if you respect your religion enough, or if you have enough admiration for it. But Catholics, the only time women veil themselves is during Mass, and it's by choice. So you don't have to wear a veil during Mass, but you can. So I guess that's kind of the difference between our religions. I don't know, are you thinking about becoming an apostate, or are you still sticking to your religion? Oh, that's kind of whack that you didn't have a choice. I thought that was by choice. That's kind of messed up if they pressure you into that, to be honest. But yeah, like I was saying, Our relationship to God is personal. So if you don't, believe in your religion and everything, you don't have to. But I do think, a connection to God is important. Oh, hey, Amusni. Man, 2 for 2. 2 for 2 today. Good to see you. I spent my morning. Oh, okay. Well, then I think you made the right choice. We're talking about theology in Islam. But yeah, if you don't believe it, you shouldn't be forced to wear it and everything. I understand the cultural pressure, especially from family, especially from Islamic families. I know it's a lot of pressure, but you just have to be true to yourself. And that's not to say you shouldn't find a relationship with God. I think that's always really important. I haven't been working too long on it, honestly. It hasn't been, I don't know, maybe 3 hours or something like that. I don't really keep track of the time on my paintings. Yeah, Americana, if you, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I didn't study theology in school, but I have a good understanding of it. Because I myself studied it, not just, Catholicism or Christianity, but Islam and Judaism, all the Abrahamic religions. I know a pretty good amount. I read the Quran, and I've read some hadiths, what's it called, Sire al-Bukhari, but not the most, Islam's not my strong suit, I should say. Thank you, Evelyn. But if you do wonder about my personal beliefs with Islam, I believe that, of course, I think it is a heresy. So yeah. For the most part, I'm going to add accents to it, like a blue, tonal gray, and everything like that. But yeah, it's going to stay white for the most part. It's got to have some dimension and some the other sorry, my cat's screaming at me to open up the door. Acrylics. I use acrylics. My favorite brand is Utrecht. It's like the perfect, affordable paint that is that still has like good quality to it. You know, it's a heavy body, so I always apply some water whenever I'm working with it, and that kind of makes it more easier to work with. My cat does that also along the underside, the door, getting it to bang against the jam. Yeah, the funny thing is I have, so Abusi, I don't know if you knew this or not. I moved to a new apartment. I have one bedroom on the left side. This is to the hallway, but there is a door on the other side to the bedroom that, opens this way. And this guy is so dumb, he doesn't realize that. He just screams at this door. Or maybe he does now and he just wants attentions. So can you give me advice? Because I feel like I am a bad person because I take off my job. I know that was my choice, but people make me feel like I am a bad person. Like I removed it for attention. Yeah, I'll give you some advice. So one, I don't think you're a bad person. I think that all of us are misaligned at some points. Obviously, I think you're going through a bit of an existential crisis, maybe. But that doesn't permit people to call you a bad person, and in the eyes of Catholicism, hopefully I'm not making the mistake by saying this, but we all fall to our own needs and our own desires, It's just the grace of God that gives us redemption, a second chance. So, what I would say to you is just learn as much as you can, not only about Islam, but the other Abrahamic religions, and try to find something that doesn't align to what you want, but what you need in your life, Because, like I said before, and this is, of course, a personal belief of mine, I think that we all need God because, and this is part of my philosophy of my art and why I paint so many eyes, is that we, as humans, need a desire to be seen, So I think right now you just need to figure yourself out. How old are you, Americano, if you don't mind me asking? Also, I will say, the feeling of you being a bad person and all of this is the feeling of shame. And, shame is, sometimes it can be a good thing, but it's not always a good thing. Especially if you dwell on it, or you think that you're a bad person because of it. One thing, again, I'm trying to tie this into, Catholicism and everything because I am Catholic, but a lot of people confuse guilt and shame with each other. Guilt is just like an objective truth. The objective truth in what you were saying is that you took off your hijab. The shame is you thinking because you took off your hijab, you're a bad person, which is, I'm sorry, it's just not true. I think that we all just become misguided And, as, of course I would say give your life to Christ and everything, but I don't want you to just blindly follow that advice. Find what feels right, what feels true to you. Maybe pray a bit on it. Americano, do you still believe in God, or is it the theology that you're struggling with, or is it just that belief in God? Forced to stop learning and going to school. That's horrible. Only you can dictate that for yourself. Don't. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I hope you have a blessed day too. I was just fishing, and I love to go fishing. I had waders on, and I caught like 5 bass and so many bluegill. It was ridiculous. Good. No, I'm glad you do. Are you, Americano, are you thinking about like looking into like other Abrahamic religions, or do you want to stick to Islam? Do you want to change to Sufi, or I don't know. I don't know what denomination you are in Islam, so, or Sufi maybe. Yeah, guys, if you guys ever need any advice or anything, I'm always here to talk. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I noticed you said you believe in him. Are you implying in the God of the Bible? Can you say that? Okay. That's fair. I would say you're on the right path, you know. And of course, I would recommend, um, yeah, I don't want to get on my Jesus spiel, but read the Gospels as well. I think they're extremely important, not just for Christianity, but I think it's gives great insight on ethics. You know, the ethics of the Western world is built on Christianity, and that being said, on what Jesus believed, what Jesus thought. Aren't we all, especially when we're 16? It's good that you're having this difficulty now and not in the future as well. I remember when I first came to find God, I was 23. Before then, my family was Christian, of course. They were some sort of evangelical. And it took me seeking God to find him. I think that's an important thing. Is this, as long as you seek, you will find him. Yeah, but like I said, read the Gospels. It doesn't hurt to read. You're not gonna go to hell or anything just reading. It's important to learn. You know, Apostle Paul said that iron sharpens iron. So it's important to just learn. Like I said before, don't let family stop you from learning. Well, I would say if you obviously I'm biased on this part, but if you don't believe in Islam, or that Muhammad was the final prophet, then I would say change your ways, but find a good foundation of faith. Don't just not believe because without finding that other foundation, because then it's just futile. That's good. I'm glad that you're in middle school and that you're learning. You seem seems like you have a good education so far. You're able to, write, read. That is the foundations of just learning. If you are ever interested in Catholicism or anything like that, put on YouTube and listen to Trent Horn. He's a great apologist. It's Trent Horn. It's TRENTHORN. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I agree with you. I think that Muhammad was a product of what was surrounding him, and what was surrounding him was a heretical version of Christianity called Arianism, that believed that Jesus was not God, and yeah, and like, Muhammad wasn't a literate person either, so he could only rely on what people told him. I think that's one of the biggest flaws of Islam that made me not believe it. Also, I mean, I don't think that Muhammad was the most ethical person, and I mean that in the most respectful way. There was people, obviously there was people in the Bible who lacked ethics, but, being a Christian, we don't rely on those people as our ethical guideline. We only rely on Jesus as that. But, me too, I believe that, Muhammad was a real person, obviously. Hey, Balfi. Uh, Muhammad was obviously a real person, but it's if you believe what he said. And there was a couple errors, for instance, when he met Jabril in the cave, he was attacked by him. And all the other times that a messenger of God was sent to somebody, the first thing that they say is, "Be not afraid." And Jabril in the Quran does not say that. And it wasn't him who believed that it was Jabril either. It was his first wife. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name, but also the way that they speak of the Old Testament does not align with what the Jewish people at his time and what the Christians believed either. The Old Testament, the oldest version of it is called the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I would recommend doing a little research on the Dead Sea Scrolls and comparing that to what the Quran says of the Old Testament. They just don't align. And again, that is because of him being at the time living around a bunch of heretical Christians. Also, another thing is what Christians call the Gospel of Thomas, which is apocryphic version of the Gospels, isn't a real gospel. When Isa makes the birds of clay and turns them into real birds, that is from an apocryphic text. That is from the Gospel of James, which was created in, I might be getting this wrong, but in the 400s, long before Christ and long after Christ and long after the apostles. So, yeah, there's a few, theological errors in his belief. Also, you got the problem of Isa calling God his father, which obviously is not a Islamic belief either. So, yeah, I would, like I said, I would recommend just reading the Gospels and discerning from that. I don't know if you know, the Islamic dilemma, but basically, I'm actually going to search this just so I'm not wrong. Good. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, I have done a lot of research on um, Islam. My somebody close to me converted to it, so I wanted to just research it and everything like that. Also, when I was, going through my own existential crisis and everything, I looked through a bunch of the Abrahamic religions. So the Islamic dilemma is the argument that Islam faces a contradiction concerning the Bible. If the Torah and Gospel were genuinely revealed by God and remained authorized, authoritative during Muhammad's time, then the Quran contradicts them on fundamental doctrines. But if those scriptures had already been corrupted, then why does the Quran affirm them and direct people to them? Thus, the dilemma argues that Islam must either accept the authority of Scripture that conflict with the Quran, or claim that God's earliest revelations were corrupted before the Quran appeared. So that is a bit of a big dilemma within it. Sorry, I keep pressing. Yeah, exactly. And I'll find you the lines in the Quran that corroborate with that. So Quran 3, lines 3 through 4. He has set down upon you the book of truth, confirming that was before it, and he revealed the Torah and the Gospels. So this established that the Torah and Gospels are described as revelations from God, and that the Quran confirms that came before. Quran 5:4-3. But how is it that they come to you for judgment, while they have the Torah, in which is the judgment of Allah? This is particularly important for the argument because the Jews are described as possessors of the Torah, which contains God's judgment. Quran 5:46-47, and we sent following in their footsteps Jesus, confirming the Torah that came before him, and we gave him the gospel. And then it says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. And this is one of the strongest passages for the dilemma, because Christians are explicitly told to judge by what God revealed in the gospel. But how could I start a new page and forget my bad memories, being forced to wear hijab, or being Muslim, or the abuse in the name of God? How do I skip all that? Well, first, obviously you still believe in God, so just understand that, and this is again like another Catholic position, that all of those who claim God's name are not always speaking for God. We are humans and we live in error, and we're misaligned with God. So sometimes what we say isn't God's will. And let me read that again. Forget your bad memories, wearing the hijab, being Muslim, or the abuse in the name of God. I would skip all that. I would say just, again, finding that relationship with God. What does that relationship look like? I believe And again, this is because I am Christian myself, that our relationship with God is relational and paternal. That's why we believe God as the Father. We believe in the Trinity. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is all God. But our relationship to God is that of a father. So, try to look at your relationship of God in that way. And you can never change the past, but you have free will to change your future. Your future is not the one that is set in stone. So just learn from the past and change your future. I'm sorry, I wish that I could give you even better advice, but that's what I could tell you. Your relationship with God is up to you. If you ever notice in the painting of Adam and God in the hold on, I'm sorry. In the painting, The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo, you notice that you can see God is reaching out to Adam, and Adam's there with his arm. I'll show you the picture. I'm sure you've seen it before, obviously. But you notice that God is reaching out to Adam, and Adam's hand is limp and barely touching his. What that means is that it is up to us to find that relationship with God. He's always there for us. It's just a matter of us reaching out to him. So I would say just pray on it and meditate on it. Pray to God that he may reveal what is the truth and how to find a proper relationship to God. And listen to that. Don't let the societal pressure get to you. Like I said, that is just humans. We're constantly in error. All right, we got a kitty in here now. What, Americano, what do you think of Christianity in general? What are your thoughts on that? Do you like it? Do you know enough to say? Yep. I have two, actually. This is Pablo. He's the one that's been meowing the whole time. He's a big boy. He's 6 years old. Yeah. Yeah, it does have a very huge um, history that is also very traceable. There's this thing in Catholicism called the Magisterium, which is basically all of the teachings of Christians throughout the 2,000 years. Being a Christian myself, I agree with you on that, obviously. So you can literally trace, like, the Pope and the bishops from Jesus' time, or the apostles that were anointed from Jesus, all the way to Pope Leo and the bishops of today. Also, if you're ever wondering if, Jesus was who he claimed to be, you can read, like I said, the Gospels, but also you can read the early church fathers, like Polycarp, St. Ignatius, St. Justin Martyr, who is my saint. All these guys learned from the apostles. Yeah, I read pages. Pages? What do you mean? Like, what pages? Oh, from the Holy Bible. Okay. Good. Yeah, so I'm sure you can see that there is a conflict of beliefs between that and Islam, obviously. And the writings from the Bible are even older than the Bible itself. The first Bible was the Septuagint, which obviously it was made not because of the Council of Nicaea, but the Council of Nicaea was basically combining all of the books of the Bible together. But the scribes and everything are made way earlier than that. For instance, the epistles, which is not the Gospels, but Paul's letters and everything, were made in 60 AD, and Christ died around 50 AD. So they are very close to the time of Christ. And there is, like I said, the early church fathers, they have a lot of writings as well that come from that time. Yeah. You keep learning, you'll find all of that. Man, these grapes are going to take a very long time. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think this piece will be great. I have to flip it over because the paint on the other side is still wet. How much would it take to finish this painting? Oh, I don't know. It might be like 10 hours or something like that. You don't have to apologize for asking me. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. What? I'm here for it. I firmly believe that this is my calling. Yeah. Yeah, oils do take a long time. I like oils, but I don't like how unhealthy they are for your respiratory system. So I stick to acrylics mainly because of that. If I did more oils, I would like to get better ventilation in my studio. Oh, definitely. I would totally recommend it. Just share your art. It doesn't hurt at all. It's one of the greatest things about the internet for artists is that we can share our art. Glad you decided to share that with me, Americano. Really, it means a lot, and I understand how hard it is to talk to people about situations like that. Yeah, I, I'm sure you can hear him screaming. Here's my other cat. He's way more quiet. His name's Sweet Pea. He is 5. Way more mature, if you ask me. Yeah. Yeah, I got 2 of them. His name's Pablo. Thanks. It fits him. Oh, thank you. Oh, awesome. Are you gonna get it displayed anywhere for an exhibition, or are you just doing it to have a collection? Oh, nice. Awesome. So are you doing like Greco and Roman art, or Moroccan? Oh boy. Oh, Algeria. Nice. Nice, nice. Tunisia's pretty nice. I have a friend from Tunisia. So are you doing different landmarks from them, from those areas, or are you recreating famous work? Or is it based purely off of like the different cultures? Oh, do it. Definitely share it. I don't know if I'm following you or not. I'm going to subscribe to you. I expect to see some content. I'm like recoloring this because I don't think I got the values and everything where I want them. So I'm just gonna get a nice plain purple first and then add the values after. I should have done that in the first place. I messed up that. Thank you. Yeah, I like it too, but I need to have like a good foundational color first and then work on the highlights. So they're going to be coming back, but I got to rework this. Yeah, go ahead. Well, long story. 8 years ago, I was in college. And I was in college for business. And I couldn't afford to stay in school. So I dropped out. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, everything like that. I felt attachment to artwork and painting, so I started doing that. I started painting, started making recreations of like Van Gogh pieces, did landscapes of what surrounded me. And then I realized that that's what I wanted to do. And that's how it started, and then I realized that that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I haven't looked back since. All right. I think I'm gonna take a break, just let this dry off and everything. Thank you so much, Americano, for just feeling that you could, come to me and talk to me about your troubles. I have a little paint right here. I'm always here for it, and I understand. But this is the end of the stream. I'm gonna call it off. I have to make some content for Instagram and for YouTube Shorts and everything. So, yeah, thank you.